This and the Big Sills way. 4 hours of positivity. 4 hours of nothing but straight talk. This isn't sports talk. It's straight talk. Some can handle it. Some can't handle it. Okay? Remember, JAKIB Sports, which is brought to you by the way, BetUS. We appreciate our new partners at BetUS. Thank you. It's not for the faint of heart. It is not for the faint of heart. This is not one of your fireside chat places. This is a place right here where, again, sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes you don't want to face it like you didn't last year at all. Kept telling you who you were. No, we're 10-1. No, you're not. I think this year, though, they've done a lot of things to rectify some of the things that went wrong last year. Hey, first and foremost, I do want to do this. Congratulations to Nick Foles on giving the Philadelphia sports fans one of the greatest moments in the history of your sports culture by winning the Super Bowl. Has to go down as the greatest moment in sports history. The Flyers winning back-to-back championships. The 67 76ers winning that championship with Wilt. 83 Sixers. The Phillies winning it with Rose, and then later on. And, of course, the greatest moment. And you can go back if you want to 60 with Bednarik winning the title. In recent memory, those are probably the greatest moments in Eagle sports history and in Philadelphia sports history. If you're going to go chronologically, you would go 60 Eagles, 67 Sixers, 74 and 75 Flyers, the 83 Sixers. Then you would go to the Phillies again, winning a championship. And then, of course, you would go with the Eagles, winning a championship. Those are your greatest moments since 1960. And I would say the Foles moment, beating the GOAT and beating the GOAT coach, was arguably the greatest moment in Philadelphia sports history. He'll go down, as I call him, the greatest substitute teacher in NFL history. 14,000 passing yards, nothing to write home about. Had one great touchdown year. That was 2013, where he went 27 touchdowns and 2 picks. Only threw for 2,800 yards that year. Nothing to write home about. Yeah, Wayne, the 08 Phillies, of course. By the way, please hit the like button. You have been destroying the like button. Just absolutely destroying it. We appreciate that. I'll ask you one question here. Xander, I wish we could do a poll question here. Should the Philadelphia Eagles put Nick Foles in the Eagle Hall of Fame? Is he worthy of being in the Birds Hall of Fame? Not really a number where you look at. Xander's going to put a poll up. LJ says no. Wow. 14,000. Yeah, like Jeff Hostetler. That's who he is. He's Jeff Hostetler. If you're going to keep it in the NFC East, he's Jeff Hostetler. Hostetler took over for an injured Sims after the Bills game. I think they were 10-0, actually, too, the Giants. Then Hostetler rolled that team to a Super Bowl championship. Hall of Fame is based on a career, not a moment. This is a tough call here. He gave you the greatest moment in Philadelphia sports history. Okay? Would you put Nick Foles in the Eagle Hall of Fame? Is he worthy of it? By the way, this is a Jeffrey Lurie pick. Okay, this is a Jeffrey Lurie pick. So the owner had a little bit to do with this guy. By the way, he put a really cool video out. And just like Shady McCoy, he's an Eagle. Make no mistake about that. Okay? Here's LJ on Nick Foles. Foles will never buy a beer in Philly. He has a statue. But that doesn't warrant being up there with the legends. His legendary moment and his legendary run, he thinks doesn't constitute. I think this is a tough question. It's like asking if Brady belongs in the Buccaneer Ring of Honor. Brady played 2 years in Tampa. Is that a career? Wait, Brady delivered a Super Bowl. Get it. Okay? Eagles Hall of Fame is an easy call. Yes, says M. Reyes. Those legends never got Philly a Super Bowl. Wow. Okay. Foles did more for the Eagles than just that one game. Could have been 2 Super Bowls if Jeffrey doesn't have Butterfingers against the Saints. Alshon Jeffries, he's talking. I agree. He catches that ball. Wentz is moved. There's no way they're moving a guy who goes to 2 straight NFC title games. That game probably changed the career path of Nick Foles. Alshon Jeffries dropping that pass in New Orleans. Absolutely. He is already in the NFL Hall of Fame. He can be in the Eagles. PR's Tavern. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Thank you. Means a lot. Thank you very much. Seals, he did something no other Eagle quarterback has done. He has won a Super Bowl. T.O. had a great season. Got us to the Super Bowl, says LJ. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. His jersey is in there next to Brady and Joe Montana in the Hall of Fame. Does that warrant him being a Philadelphia Eagle Hall of Famer? Man, what a tough call. He had him. I mean, at 27 touchdowns and 2 pick season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he made a Pro Bowl too, right? Didn't Foles make a Pro Bowl with the Eagles as a quarterback? And by the way, that's a good call too. Chips and birds. Dude, this guy just didn't win a Super Bowl. He was the MVP in the game. He has certain things that no other Eagle quarterback has ever done, including Ron Jaworski. He's taken a team to a Super Bowl. He's won the damn thing. And he took home the Super Bowl MVP. I mean, the greatest quarterbacks in the history of your franchise have never done that. I mean, you've had some legendary players in that position going back to the 60s. And they have not accomplished that. Then the question is, could they have won with anyone else back there at quarterback? I don't think so. I think anyone else besides Eli could have done it. Oh, Ronald, you think that Wentz would have? So, Ronald, you think Wentz would have won it then? Angelo Cataldi doesn't think so. He says there's no way Carson Wentz delivers that Super Bowl Sunday night against the Patriots. Pro Bowl MVP. Hold on here. So I forgot that. Foles was a Pro Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, won the damn game, and he was a Pro Bowler. This guy's case is getting a little bit better. This guy's case is getting a little bit better. Please hit the like button here. Thank you, Prince, man. You're really awesome, and we appreciate you so much more than you know. If Cunningham is in the Eagles Hall of Fame, I don't see how you can keep Foles out. Yes, all of that big sells. Man, Pro Bowl MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner, Pro Bowler, all with the Philadelphia Eagles. Damn, dude. I guess I haven't answered. I got to answer it, right? Look at. Oh, okay, LJ. Here, look at LJ here. He calls it the Sileo. Is that what he's calling it? The Sileo. Dude, wait a minute. I got to check out Nick Foles. I'm sorry. I can't. Because now, before I make my vote, before I make my vote, let me get down here. Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner, Pro Bowl, NFL passing leader in 2013. I mean, so, okay, 7 touchdown passes in a game, tied for NFL record, 25 consecutive pass completions, tied. Playoff career completion percentage, 68-1. He's number 1. Get the fuck out of here. Get out. No way. No way. No way. And I never knew he played at Arizona. I didn't know he started at Michigan State. Holy shit. This guy's got some accolades, dog. He played for dickhead Chip Kelly, too. Chip Kelly could destroy anybody. This is crazy. This guy's more accomplished. Oh, my God, he played for the Rams. I had forgot. Even the Chiefs? 17 Super Bowl MVP. Foles in the NFC Championship game against the Vikings was 26 of 33 for 352 yards and 3 touchdowns. He follows it up in the Super Bowl, going 28 of 43 for 373 yards and 3 touchdowns, and was named the game's most valuable player. I got to say, here. Would I put Nick Foles in the Eagle Hall of Fame? Yeah. Yes. You know why? Every time people roll into Lincoln Financial, you'll look up and you'll see Foles' name, and you know what it will be? He'll have one thing every single player on that list won't have. You know what that is? A Super Bowl winning quarterback. Of all the quarterbacks that played in Eagle history in the Super Bowl era, he'll always have that over everyone else. Until someone else does that. That's right. And he beat the 2 GOATs. Dude. And hey, and for Eagle fans too. Hey, Crowley, how about this when you walk into Lincoln Financial as an Eagle fan and you look up and you see his name? That will always bring a smile to your face, won't it? You want to walk into a game and feel good about your guys and your legacy. And you know what people will say about that guy up there on that wall? I don't care what you think about Nick. He represents Philly. Doesn't have big numbers. Doesn't have really a long career at Philly. You know what he did do? He brought it home. Shit. Hey, man. He dove off the boat, went down, got the treasure. He's the only guy to come up with air. I think he belongs in the in the Eagle Hall of Fame. I help put lists together. Does he have the numbers? No. Is McNabb more worthy? Hey, how about that one? Who's more worthy to be up there in the Eagle Ring of Honor or the Eagle Hall of Fame? Donovan McNabb or Nick Foles? If you had to win a game, would you want Nick as your quarterback for 60 minutes or Donovan? Who would you want? So let me get this right. This guy threw for over 700 yards in 2 games, the NFC title game, and then turned around and threw for 373 in the Super Bowl against the Patriots and Belichick. I want to forget McNabb. I'll take Foles. Hit the like button. You guys are great, man. He's the ultimate substitute teacher, though. But I think only the Eagle fans would understand why he's up there. Everybody else rolling in from out of town would look up and go, Nick Foles? And they wouldn't get it, though. I don't think they would get it. Foles, and it's not even close. That's what Xander says. If you had to pick a 60-minute quarterback between McNabb and Foles, not close. Not close. Some football tonight. Carolina, New England. I hear Drake May sucks out loud up there. Detroit at New York. Hey, you want to hear something? Andy Reid is playing Patrick Mahomes this weekend on Saturday. What? Andy Reid is playing the starters. Kelce's playing. Chris Jones is playing. And Mahomes is playing. Hey, ho, what do we got going here, man? Damn, that's some coolions. You're going to play a guy who's going for a three-peat against a team with a bunch of baggage handlers that will be working at Philadelphia International in about 4 weeks. That's what he's doing? Holy cow, does Andy Reid's got a sack on him like, holy cow, man. That is something. You lose that quarterback. But then again, that's probably one of the reasons why he knows if he loses a quarterback, he ain't losing his gig over that. Jonathan Gannon would lose his gig over that. Holy shit. Damn. Playing as starters. At least the series this weekend, the Kansas City Chiefs are. Hey, yeah, okay, man. By the way, I heard John McMullen and Xander talking about a little bit of that Tim McManus article. I want to hit a small tidbit on it. We'll talk about day 10 of training camp. We'll hit on that a little bit. What else is our topic here? Yeah, we're going to do day 10. We're going to go into detail on it. And we're going to do a little bit of what those guys talked about. And we'll hit on it. Thank you very much for the super chat here. Disciple, I did that last season too. He played them first and second quarter. He's talking about the Chiefs. He did that last year. Guys, please hit the like button. You're smoking today. You're smoking already out of the gate. Okay. Let me get into a little bit of what I heard. I heard something today. Xander and I were talking about this. As soon as they started talking, and you know the one comment that I'll take that kind of carries it forward to 2024. Remember what I told you the last comment that Jalen Hurts made when he was sitting down talking to the press? There were two things in that press conference that I had takeaways with that were newsworthy. The Wink Martindale comment and also the very last statement by Hurts. I wonder if part of the contentiousness versus Hurts and Sirianni had a lot to do with more how the organization felt about where he was in his development. Follow me here. I don't want to indict Jason Kelce because Jason Kelce also called protections for Carson Wentz. I heard John say that, and I'm going to take John at his word. Okay? John's been around the team hell of a lot longer. Hell, Xander has. Okay? That's not normal. 31 other teams, even backup quarterbacks, have control of setting pass protection. Caleb Williams will be in control of pass protection in Chicago. Just so you know. That's why that comment I was telling Xander yesterday, the last statement for me was telling. He never had control of his offense. This is what Brian Johnson and Jalen were trying to do. I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts did not trust Jason Kelce. That's not what I'm saying here. And it had been a statement. I'm saying, how much say did Jeff Stoutland have in that decision making that he didn't believe that Jalen Hurts should be the guy that handles pass protection? And that's why Cliff Kingsbury didn't get the job, because Cliff Kingsbury wanted to hire a new OC or a new O-line coach that would give the autonomy to the quarterback. Now he's got it now. But get this, think about this. Jalen Hurts, if Jason Kelce had decided to play, he wouldn't be calling pass protections and wouldn't have complete control of the offense. That dynamic would still be there. No wonder Jalen Hurts hasn't said much about the retirement of Kelce. I think he loves it that he retired. I think he hates the fact he loses an all-pro. Totally hates that. But I think he thinks Jurgens can do the job. I think Jalen thinks it's about time I had control. That's an organizational decision. That they were going to give Kelce the responsibility because he had it the last 2 years, or two quarterbacks, we'll say. What this does now is it puts a bigger bullseye on Hurts. Can't blame your O-line now. You can't blame your center. By the way, there was an article, if somebody can Google it, that there was like a comment that Kelce or someone made that Kelce was telling Hurts where the blitz was coming from, and he still couldn't see it. Maybe it wasn't that Hurts couldn't see it. Maybe he didn't trust the pass protection that Kelce was calling. Could that have led to his retirement? I don't know. Listen, I'm spitballing here. But the comment that Hurts made at the end of that presser, and hearing McMullen say, well, Kelce called it for Wentz, that's a decision by Stoutland, Nick, and probably the higher-ups. LJ, listen, I'm not saying that there's a bad relationship. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he has animosity towards Kelce. I'm talking about as a quarterback. Andreas, it's not fake news. He fucking said it. It's not fake news. Watch the presser. His words were, I've been waiting for this. It's not fake news. Let me finish here. How can it be fake news when it comes out of Hurts' mouth? How's that fake news? I'm not saying, LJ, they have a bad relationship. Okay? I'm not saying that. Not at all. No way. But as an ego for a quarterback, part of the process for you to be able to run a football team is to have complete control of the unit. Remember, hey, Xander, what's the name of that? What's the name of that podcast that Tom Brady does? Tom Brady on his podcast was talking about the development of quarterback. He goes, one of the most important things that you can have as a quarterback to develop a quarterback is setting pass protections. If a quarterback can't set pass protections, you're not developing a quarterback. Jason gave up more sacks than Lane in the last 3 years. Hey, dude. Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce. and for the record, I am no way saying that there's a poor relationship. I'm talking about the quarterback wanting to have control of the unit. Hey, those guys could be best of buddies, but that has nothing to do with what a quarterback wants when it comes to running his offense. Hey, you want to hear something else that was said that Big Sills learned from an inside source inside the organization? Nick Sirianni used to pull Jalen Hurts out of offensive quarterback meetings and have conversations with him about what he wanted to see this week and what he wanted to see that Sunday. He'd pull him out of meetings. Last year, Sirianni was pulling him out of Brian Johnson quarterback meetings. I mean, you talk about being frustrated if you're Brian Johnson. I mean, LJ goes, Prince sold out. No, he didn't. Nothing wrong with having somebody that is part of our program. LJ, you're part of it. Sold out. Thank you, LJ. Thank you, Prince. I'll tell you what selling out is. You want to know what selling out is that you guys have been listening to for all those years? How about this, Prince? What did Big Sills tell you guys yesterday was going to happen? That ESP guy throwing out that Nick Sirianni is such a great coach. Remember what I said? You watch Howard Eskin post something next. Sure enough, Nick Sirianni is a fabulous football coach. Actually tweeted it out right after my program. The two plants in the building doing their jobs. I should read that thing. Listen to this thing here. This is your boy. And by the way, he's on the sidelines Friday night. It's crazy. I predicted it, and he did. It didn't even take him a full day. And he was out there fucking putting that out there on. I mean, it didn't even take him long. Fans can say what they want. Here's Howard Eskin here. Fans can say what they want about the Eagle head coach, Nick Sirianni. But you need to understand he's a good coach. Then why was he almost fired? Why did the quarterback hate his guts? This is one of the reasons players have respect for him. Jalen doesn't respect him as a coach. He likes him as a man. This is a bullshit tweet. It's difficult to have both from players. I hear it from players. So easy to criticize. This is a bullshit tweet. There wasn't a person in the building that respected Nick Sirianni last year, including his coaches. Including his coaches. And here's Howard Eskin saving his job after that whole fiasco by posting something for the organization. Way to go, Bob. Holy shit. Are you guys under the umbrella of just misinformation? Holy shit. I mean, I heard John talking today, and John goes, I'm not here to make the Eagles feel better about themselves. If there's a story, I'm covering it. He's dead right. That's exactly how you have to go about your business, no matter what the timing is. And I agree with John. I don't think somebody sits at home and goes, how can I get under the Eagle skin today? That's not what they do. You're supposed to react to news. You're not supposed to create it. I do something different. I'm a talk show host. I'm not a reporter. Okay? I'm not a journalist. I am not a journalist. By the way, today, Xander's going to join us at 3:30. Jason Cole at 4:30. And guess who's going to jump in with us? We're going to talk a little sports with our friend Ice Cube. That's going to be at 5 o'clock Eastern time. We'll get his thoughts on the Olympics. We'll get his thoughts on his great tournament he's got going on. He's a big football fan, Raider fan. We'll get his comments. So Ice Cube is going to join us. That'll be at 5 o'clock. So Xander at 3:30. Jason Cole at 4:30, and then the legendary Ice Cube will join us at 5 o'clock as we start to ramp up all the guests, start to come back on the program here as we're getting ready to go into a pretty packed NFL weekend. This is going to be the first weekend where everybody's playing, so I look forward to talking some sports with Ice Cube at 5 o'clock Eastern time. My good friend will join us at 5 o'clock. Eduardo goes, Sills, let's get Cube to get Crosby to the Eagles. I like it. I like it, right? Hey, Sills, what about the potential linebacker trades? Kyle, I'll get into that a little bit later on in the program here. So, again, guys, Hurts has been waiting for this moment. Now, what does this mean? All the pressure's on Jalen. I personally don't think that you're going to see too much collaboration between Cam Jurgens and Jalen Hurts in pass protection. Okay? I don't. I think this is going to have a lot to do. Okay? I think this is going to have a lot to do with Hurts. Okay? I do. Best guest ever, Senor. Ice Cube, 5 o'clock. So he'll be there for us. Imagine getting criticized week in and week out for something which you have no control over. Think about it from Hurts' point of view. Even if you see blitzes coming, you can't do shit about it. Sam, I think that's Hurts' thought. So Jason Kelce failed last year, right? Okay? Jason Kelce, he failed. Isn't this on Kelce? Third in blitzes? What didn't you say? That's on Kelce? He called pass protection. Or is that on the quarterback still? Right? Maniac, what up, my friend? Niners all damn day left my house. So some people in here swear they are Eagle fans by the way they talk. How about this one here? Big Sills, watch your show every day. I love how you keep it real. Even when it's stuff we don't want to accept. Thank you, Tube. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. That's exactly how I look at it. I'll say one thing for sure, too. One thing that I'm going to say this. Hey, Niner all day. I'm going to ask you something here. Don't you agree the one thing that the Eagles do better than the 49ers? Here's what the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan do compared to what the Eagles do, and I think the Eagles do a better job of it. So if I have a Lamborghini or a Bentley and I pay $250,000 for it, okay? Kellen will be our new head coach next season, potentially. Potentially. I paid $350,000 for a Bentley. Like driving it. It's a coupe. I like the coupe Bentley myself. Okay? Driven it a few times. Drive it to work back and forth. I love it. You know, I use it. The 49ers have Kittle, who's a Bentley. Ayuk, who's a Bentley. McCaffrey, who's a Bentley. Who else? Deebo Samuel as a Bentley. And here's my problem. Kyle Shanahan will take out the Bentley maybe with Kittle once. Another game, he'll take Ayuk and go 4. The only guy that really gets a lot of touches is McCaffrey. Whereas we're the Eagles, they drive their 2 Bentleys, man, almost into the ground. They use their money. The only guy that's really underutilized is the tight end. And I think one of the reasons why they don't use him is because he's hurt. One thing the Eagles do, every game, those guys get touches and plays, and they're a major focal point. Kyle Shanahan will pull their Bentley out of the garage whenever needed. Well, this week we need this car. That week, man, that's such a luxury because you have a quarterback that doesn't make dick. I mean, you're going to lose that affordability to be able to do that. You got to use these guys, man. I'm not paying $25 million to use Ayuk every other week or Debo to use him every other week. There's no question that the Eagles get more cost efficiency out of what they do with Devontae and what they do with AJ than what the 49ers do with all their pieces, only because the quarterback makes dick money. I think that's not well spent money. If I'm going to spend a majority of my cap, one thing the Philadelphia Eagles do, every guy that makes big money plays. They play. They get touches and targets. The 49er guys, I've seen games where Kittle's doesn't even get targets. I don't want to pay for that. I don't want to pay for that. Okay? Sills, I find it strange that the center is the one to call it. How can he know if the back four change their positions once he's already getting ready and sets to hike the ball? I don't know how he sees that either. I think that's really weird. I think that has a lot to do with Jeff Stoutland. I think Stoutland had a lot to say in Jalen not being able to call pass protection. I think the organization didn't trust him. Now that Kelce's gone, he's the next guy in line. But if Kelce hadn't retired, Jalen Hurts would still not be calling pass protections. Think about that. It took Kelce to retire to give the offense to Jalen. Maybe the things that Brian Johnson was saying was right. They never gave him total control of the offense at any time. I want you guys to think about something here. And you know why Jalen Hurts was so good in 22? Why do you think he was so good in 22? Tell me why he was good in 22 and not good in 23. Not to relitigate anything here. But this goes into the Jason Kelce comment that Xander and John McMullen were talking about. What was the difference? Jalen had control of the offense. The unknown. Hey, Greg, tell folks what the RPO is. Hurts had control of the RPO. His decision-making. Isn't that been a mantra this camp? Decision-making? Hasn't that been? Prince, great job, man. Please hit the like button, guys. Already over 100. Killing it. Because remember something. When you run the RPO, and you hike the ball, coordinator has no say. Once Jalen Hurts has the ball in his hand, he turns. And if that end is coming, that end isn't coming, he runs them, he freezes them, hands it off, takes off himself. Those are decision-making that Jalen Hurts made himself. He had more control of the offense in 22 than he did in 23. This is so making sense now. The control. Here's why Hurts was frustrated last year. Because Wink Martindale said it. We knew they weren't committed to running anymore, which meant they weren't committed to Hurts controlling the offense. Nick's ego did. That's why this offseason and now in camp has been a priority to give him more control. Set the pass protections. I'm telling you, this is setting up for something good here. Not bad. This is not shit talking. This is setting up for them going, hey, it may not look like the same version of 22, but what they're doing is they're giving him the control of the offense again like he had in 22. May look a little different because now you got Saquon behind you. He doesn't have to carry the load of that. Here, get this. Hurts has more responsibility in setting pass protection, but he may not have the same responsibility of handling the RPO. They got a $10 million running back now. It's kind of well thought out. It's kind of well thought out here. It is. That's why every time Sirianni is asked a question about his communication with Kellen, he deviates off it and talks about coaching linebackers. Because he can't tell the truth about it, because everybody would know he has no conversations about anything they're doing. What communications is possibly Kellen Moore and Nick going to have in a game when Jalen has made it very clear? I want nothing to do with his influence in the offense. It's smoke screens. If Kellen wants to call a play, Nick doesn't have veto power. He has no veto power. How many times, and I know Xander's seen this, watch Nick Sirianni answer a question. He can't answer that question. Oh, then I walk into the linebacker room or I walk in the DT room. That's not what they asked you. What is your communication with Kellen? Kellen and, we're trying to work things together, the new and the old. And you're like, new and the old? You have no say in the new and the old because the quarterback doesn't want you involved in the new. Jalen Hurts has grown as a leader. Quietly. I went back and watched that clip when he questioned Tim McManus and the Jeremy Fowler, what's the big thing on Wink? I didn't think that was you know what? I think more quarterbacks should do that. How'd you beat me? I don't think that's a poor thing to do. I never really actually thought about it. You get beat by something. You get beat by Belichick. Hey, Bill, this is whatchamacallit from the Kansas City Chiefs. This is Patrick Mahomes. What did you see that, I was doing that made me so accessible to that blitz? I never thought about it. I think you've got to have really a lot of humility to do that. Hey, Wink, you had a lot of success. What did you see? Well, you guys weren't committed to running with you. We knew that. We just brought pressure. As far as I heard, Wink told him, be prepared. Todd's going to throw pressure at you. So Jalen and Brian Johnson went into Nick Sirianni and told him that Todd Bowles was going to bring pressure in that Bucs game. He wanted fucking nothing to do with it. And Jason Kelce didn't help. So think about what went on there for a second. We're going to move on here to day 10 of camp. So Jalen talks to a guy a few days after the Giants beat him. They weren't committed to running him, and they knew the blitzes were affecting him. So Jalen was just told this. And then Wink tells him, Todd's a big blitz guy. Be prepared. Bowles is going to bring the house on you. And they did. And they still didn't stop it. JM goes, he was undermining his own coach. That's a dick move. Hey, fuck that. If the guy is the captain of a boat and he's going to ram the iceberg, I'm jumping off. JM's going to stay on. How dumb can you be? Undermining a coach who's driving me into an iceberg is not something I'm going to do. I'm going to go down with the ship? Not thank you, babe. No. Not thank you. No way. Not happening. Wink Martindale told him the Wink before. Hey, Todd's going to bring blitzes. This is the thing I'm talking about with Kelce. Again, I'm not trying to sit here and say that Jason Kelce and Jalen have a bad relationship. I think Jason Kelce and Jalen Hurts weren't on the same page when it came to blitz pickup. You know why? It's the quarterback's responsibility to see it, not through the eyes of Jason Kelce, through his own eyes. To what you said, Prince, how the hell can he see that what you're doing on the second level back there or the third level of your defense when you're down in a snap? How can you see that if they don't change when you're bringing a safety or strong safety when it comes to blitzing? How can you see that? You're down in the crotch with your head up like this, and you don't know what they're doing when they're changing strength. How can you see that? JM says Hurts didn't use that information because Sirianni didn't want to hear it. Not undermining Nick. Hurts knew Nick did not have the intellect to give Hurts the answer. Senor, don't you agree this is why Hurts is saying right now? And by the way, do you not agree with this one too? And I know Xander says this all the time. Hurts does everything intentionally. That comment at the end of that presser yesterday or 2 days ago is telling on where you are now. He's in a good place. Sirianni wanted to control everything on the coaching side and even showed on the sideline. There was video proof he was even calling the plays in 23. You know, Xander said something yesterday when he was with us and said, Sills, why would you give it to Brian Johnson? If things were going that way, isn't that Nick's role? He has to come in. What's he ever done? Again, this shit started in the offseason. And it was only going to roll to that point where you got to that comment that Xander made. You should have addressed that when you first hired him. Why'd you hire him? Because there was going to be a situation in the year that you were going to have to overcome and have answers. No one in the building had answers. And the only answer was to do what? Not listen to Hurts? I think there's more to that last statement. Again, I want to make sure we underscore, I am not sitting here telling you that Jason Kelce and Jalen Hurts have this horrific. No. I think the quarterback has to have complete control of the unit. And that comes down to pass routes, progression reading. How do you know this? Let's do this as well. How do you know one of the reasons that Jalen Hurts can't read defenses is because he doesn't know where the blitz is coming from? Or if he does know where the blitz is coming from, he can do nothing about it because Kelce set the pass protection. Didn't Jalen have any kind of audible out of that? Or was that always set in stone? See what I'm saying? If you set a pass protection to a certain thing, you're assuming the blitz or the pressure is going to come from a certain angle on the field, weak side, strong side, up the middle, what have you. How can you set and have an idea in your pre-snap read on where you're going with it? If you get to the line of scrimmage, your center calls for pass protection, that contradicts where he thinks the pressure's coming from. Jalen thinks the pressure's coming from the weak side, and Kelce calls strong side protection, and he calls a fan protection. Hurts has to go with what Kelce says, hit on the quarterback. That's, again, what we said, the most telling thing in that whole thing, outside of the Wink Martindale deal, was the wink, the beginning, and the end of it. The other stuff in the middle was kind of neat, but not really newsworthy. It was old news. The new news was, I have control now. Jalen Hurts would probably be a better reader of defenses now, because he's going to set where he thinks the pressure's coming from, not where the guy down there. Do you know what a slave you become to when a guy has predetermined pass protections where he goes like this? We're going to fan strong side here. Jalen comes to the line of scrimmage and he goes, oh man, they're bringing pressure from the weak side. You can see it. How many times did he get back there and Hurts was hitting the pocket? Made him look like he didn't have and then you didn't have very good pass protecting backs. Made it look even worse. I think that went on a lot. And quite frankly, I think coordinators realized that Hurts wasn't calling the protection. They were probably, hey, you know what a great tidbit is? You know why Nick Bosa probably knew? Not because of what Hurts was doing, but because of what Kelce was doing. If Kelce makes a call, they probably had the preconceived notion they're going to fan strong side or weak side. You're going to bring the pressure from the opposing side. And that's why Hurts wasn't throwing across the middle of the field. He's throwing in the numbers. I think there was a disconnect between Kelce and Hurts last year. I think as the season went on, we're not on the same page. I read an article, I can't remember it, I'll find it, where Kelce was telling him where he thought the blitzes were coming from, and Hurts didn't believe it. Eagles defense and Nick Sirianni is the reason why the Eagles won't make it to the Super Bowl. Well, hang in there on the defense for a second here. Sills, why didn't they have quarterback calling their own plays anymore? Wouldn't they have Charlie, I think Mahomes does call his own plays. Andy Reid said in the Super Bowl, he audibled out of many calls that I had in that Super Bowl. I think they've made that offense to Mahomes, and I think the greatest thing ever happened to Mahomes was getting rid of Tyreek Hill. They're not obligated to throw to one primary target. He has the autonomy to go anywhere. How many Kansas City games do you see that guy has 13 different targets that he throws to? He's not obligated in any way to throw to one guy. Maybe Kelce. Yeah, that whole thing last year has nothing to do with Brian Johnson. Well, Sills, he's not qualified. Well, fuck, don't hire him. That's a you thing. If you didn't trust him, why'd you hire him? I said it day one. Who is this guy? Quarterback coach? The only reason they did that was for control. They thought elevating a guy in the building was the way to go because they like to outsmart themselves or whatever. Okay? Top of the hour, we're going to look at week. I keep saying week. Day 10 of practice here. Brian was promoted because the options were limited at the time. I agree with what Xander said on that, Forrest. I do. Okay? Because you go deep like that, you don't have a chance. There's a smaller pool. All the good coordinators get gobbled up. Sure. So then you landed on Brian Johnson, who never called a play, and Nick. And you got what you deserved. And what's his name's telling you the guy's a great coach. They went in spite of him. So regardless of who was responsible, facts are staff, Nick, were not skilled enough to make in-game adjustments. Completely true. It's no different than the defense not adjusting to zag routes in the Super Bowl. Hey, Bob, you know what made the Patriots so freaking insane? Is that Belichick would have a game plan, and in-game he would absolutely have the best in-game adjustments of any coach I've ever seen. Remember something about, hey, could somebody do me a favor? Okay, can somebody do me a favor? Tell me what the Patriots defense was ranked last year. I think they won 4 games. Okay? If I'm not mistaken, I believed they won only 4 games. Can you tell me where they were ranked a year ago? 4 or 5 games the Patriots won. Okay? I mean, I don't remember how many ball games New England won. But what was their ranking defensively? Total defense last year. I'd be interested. Nick has the best winning percentage as a coach in the last 3 years. Man, what are we talking about? Is he perfect? No, the man is human. DRC, they went in spite of that guy. Okay, so the Patriots, get this. The Patriots won 4 games last year, and they were 7th in total defense. And you guys were 31st in pass defense. They won 4 games, and they were 7th. If they had any offense, they could have been in the AFC Championship game. They were 7th and won 4 games. One thing is for sure, Bill knows what he's doing. Okay? The thing may have run out of gas. But don't ever accuse that guy of not knowing defense. Okay? Dolphins made the playoffs, though. Didn't they win 10 games? That guy won 4. Sales, Bill's ability to scrap a game plan and adjust is a direct result of his experience. Absolutely, man. Of his experience. Absolutely. When you hire young, you get young mistakes. That falls back on Howie's insecurity. Well, and the owner. But hey, to circle this back in the room here. Okay, to circle this back in the room here. I think you're going to see more of kind of Jalen running the offense like he ran it in 22. It's just going to look different. It's going to look different. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Okay? Some football to watch tonight. I know, we brought it up. It's going to start the exhibition season tonight. I think it's Carolina, New England, Detroit, and the Giants tonight. I heard Daniel Jones may even play tonight. They need to get that guy's ass out there on the field for sure. Guys, do me a favor. We are very proud to have a new relationship with our friends at BetUS. Here at JAKIB Sports, we are proud to put that all together here. And if you are looking for a new book this football season, BetUS is your place to go, especially when you got football this coming weekend. Make no mistake about it. Us teaming up with BetUS is absolutely sensational. Right now, get a 125% sign-up bonus. That's $2,000. And how about this one too? 200% in crypto bonuses. Just go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. This is where Michael Vick shops. This is where Michael Vick does all his business here, man. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalization, 365 days a year. You get top-notch service. Live wagers on all major games. Plus, BetUS can do this for you too. They can give you your own personalized account executive to handle your account. That's betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Do me a favor. Make sure you tell them Big Sil sent you.
Michael Vick at betus.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.